Did I buy 9 different blushes? Yes. Do I regret it? No. Hi beauties, and welcome to today's video. My name is Bridget if you're new here. I am a skincare and makeup obsessed lover of all things beauty, and this is one of my favorite times of year, the spring Sephora sale. In today's video, I'm gonna do a haul of everything I got during the Sephora sale. So I went into this sale thinking I would just be restocking on some of my favorite products and maybe pick up 1 or 2 new fun things. But kind of the opposite of that happened. I was planning to restock on some of my favorite skincare and hair care products because I do go through those products a lot quicker, and so it's great when I can get a discount on them. I prefer not to buy them at full price, but I ended up talking myself out of that because I have some other products that I need to use up first. So I decided instead of making this shopping spree just a big restock, I was actually going to focus on buying some new makeup products that I've really been interested in trying. And a big area that I bought a lot of products in was blushes. It seems like there's so many new blushes out right now, and I just couldn't resist picking some up to try them out. It does kind of work out positively because now I can actually try these out and share my thoughts with you, and I got them for 20% off. So I will take that. I'm very happy with this haul. So let's get into everything that I purchased. There were 2 makeup products that I did end up repurchasing, and one of them was the Makeup by Mario Surreal Skin Soft Blur Setting Powder. I love this powder and I wanted to just buy another one because I know mine is getting close to the end, so I wanted to make sure I would have a fresh one to open once I run out of that one. I also repurchased one of the Makeup by Mario Soft Pop blushes. This is in the shade Pinch Me Pink, and this is my favorite shade. It is just such a beautiful pink, and I needed to repurchase this because mine is definitely expired. I'm gonna show you. So this is my old one. When you look at it, it looks fine, but then when you compare it to the fresh product, I don't know if you can tell, but like this one has really softened in color. It just looks like its time has come, and I've known that for a while. I haven't wanted to throw it away, but I have not used it because I felt like it was expired, so I'm happy I picked this up. I'll swatch this shade for you. I think it's just the perfect everyday pink. It's not too bright, it's not too cool, too warm. I find this to be very soft. I think if you have fair skin, this will especially work well, and it's not overly pink, you know, it's not that Barbie pink. I love this shade. I'm happy to have it again. I am wearing it today. I have something else on top that I'll get into, but you'll see my application of this shade. I just think this is a staple. I love this product, and this shade especially is my favorite. The next product I got was the Kosas Revealer Extra Bright Concealer. This is the pink shade, which is called Magic. So I've been eyeing this product for a while. It's a pink color corrector, and I've heard really good things about it, and I decided to pick it up during the sale. Let me swatch it for you. So yeah, you can see it is just like a pure pink shade. It's not super bright, I will say, so I am gonna be curious how that's gonna work with my fair skin. I forgot to apply this today. I was going to. I applied some of these products so I could insert a couple clips. I'm gonna swatch everything, but I still wanted to have a couple application clips to throw in here, and I just completely forgot. But I will be trying this out, and we'll share some updated thoughts. I feel like it's right on the borderline where this could potentially be a little too dark for my skin tone, but I do intend to put concealer over it, so that should work just fine. This should hopefully correct and cancel out some of that darkness I have under my eyes, and then I would just go in with my regular concealer. This next product I have had on my wish list forever. I've always been tempted to put it in my cart during the Sephora sale, but I kind of talked myself out of it. It is a pricier product, but I finally got it, and it is the Dior Backstage Glow Face Palette. So this is a highlighter palette, and I've heard such good things about this. I feel like every makeup artist I follow always recommends this, so I've had my eye out on it, and I'm glad that I finally purchased it, and that I got 20% off when I did. So you can see these just really beautiful shades. obviously this darker shade down here is not going to work for me for a highlight, but I feel like I could use it all over my lid. I'm just excited to have this, and I'll go ahead and swatch this for you. Okay, so these are all of them swatched. That white strobing shade is up top, then that gold champagne shade, then we've got pink, and then that sort of final bronze shade. These are really pretty, really beautiful glow. I'm obviously going to be using these top two a lot more. I think the pink one is definitely a bit too dark to be a pink highlighter for me, but it could be a really pretty blush topper if I wanted to get some sheen on my blush. And then, like I said, the bronze one, I think I'm gonna try to use on my eyes. Next, I picked up one of the Haus Labs bronzers. This is in the shade Soleil Sand, and this is the lightest shade for fair skin. So this is actually a new launch. Sort of. It's like a reformulated their old bronzer. So I actually had this bronzer on my list of wanting to try, but then it was like completely sold out because they pulled it because they were reformulating. I believe they just took out talc and reformulated. That's a thing like a lot of brands are doing, I believe. I'm not sure the exact reason for it. As far as I can tell, most people say that it's pretty similar, like there's not any noticeable differences, and it's a really good product, so I'm happy I finally picked it up. And I did use it today and I really like it. So let me swatch it. It actually feels very creamy, like when I dip my finger in. So that's the shade. I don't know if that's the greatest swatch, but this is nice and light. It is warm. It's definitely a bronzer, but I didn't find it to be too warm on my skin. So you'll see me applying it. At first, I wasn't sure if my brush was picking it up, and then I went a little bit heavier with it, a little heavy-handed when I dipped my brush in, and I really liked how it turned out. I feel like I finally found a really great fair bronzer that's not too warm, but is still giving bronze, because bronzers are supposed to be a little bit warmer. So I've really enjoyed this. If you are someone with very fair, a little bit more cool tone skin like me, I think you will really like this shade. And it applied really well. Like I said, I dipped my brush in a little extra to build it up. And honestly, I prefer that, because the worst thing is if you get a little bit too much on your brush and then you have to try to really blend it out. I would rather have something that is buildable, and especially with powders, you never completely know what you're gonna get, but I'm really liking this formula. This is probably a good segue into all the blushes that I got, because I did also pick up a Haus Labs blush. So I picked up the shade Hibiscus Haze. This really looked the prettiest to me. This is the product that they reformulated and launched towards the end of last year. But this is the one where they made it smaller. So just to compare, yeah, you can see this is a lot bigger and then this is smaller, which is pretty normal. I feel like bronzer and blush sizes. But I think the issue is that the old Haus Labs blush was as big as the bronzer. And then when they reformulated, they like kind of cut it in half. I don't know. I didn't have the old formula. Let me go ahead and swatch this. Okay, so this is described as a mauve pink. I'm not sure I would say it's mauve. I feel like I'm seeing so many blushes throw in that mauve. But to me, when I think of mauves, I do think a little bit more cool tone and more like purple. This is just very pink. I mean, this is more like hibiscus, which it's called Hibiscus Haze. That's more what I think. So I don't know about the mauve description, but this is a very pretty shade. I am excited to try this. As I mentioned, I did pick up a lot of blushes. I could not put them all on my face. I decided to just do that Makeup by Mario blush, and then I put another one on top, which I'll show you. Maybe because it's settled, we can try out one, a little bit of a topper, but if I were to load up all these blushes, I would look crazy. And we're gonna have a lot of swatches going on here. I really like how this looks. I think this is gonna be fun, especially in the summer. And I've heard good things about this formula, so I'm excited to try this out. Okay, so the next technically blush product that I got is the new, I think it's limited edition, Charlotte Tilbury Beauty Soulmates palette. So there is a blush in here, but then the other side is a setting powder. This is so cute. I'm obsessed with this. I know this packaging has been very controversial. I think because, you know, it is a pricey product, it's Charlotte Tilbury, and then it's like a bigger palette, so it's pricier than, you know, just their regular setting powders or blushes. And it has this little like plastic gem in the center, and I think a lot of people were like, oh, that looks like something I had when I was a kid. People didn't like it, especially for the price. Honestly, I don't have an issue with that. I think it's fun. I get it when you're thinking about like pricing, but I actually feel like this feels very luxe. This is a pretty heavy package, and I mean, I think this outer shell is still plastic. It's like the same as their normal powders, but it has that kind of metal feel to it. Let me also show the inside of it. So this is the blush, and then this is the setting powder. And these are both new shades. So this is a new shade to their blush line, same with the powder. So this is their classic airbrush setting powder, but this is a like kind of pinky brightening powder. I don't know if the camera will pick it up, but it is a little bit pinker. I think the packaging's cute. Yes, does it kind of remind me of something I may have had when I was a kid with this little plastic gem here, but it's fun. Like, I think that's cute. It's giving me Sailor Moon vibes, honestly, with this. And I just couldn't resist. This just looks so cute, and I had to buy it, and at least I got it on sale. This is what I'm wearing today. So I will show you my blush application, and then also I finished everything out using the setting powder. So the blush, let me go ahead and swatch it. So this is the blush. Very pretty soft pink. It actually reminds me a lot of the Makeup by Mario cream blush, so that's why I decided to pair the two. The finish feels very like airbrushed a little bit. It feels more smoothing and matte. It did apply really well, and it was, again, an easy product to build up. It didn't immediately like distribute a ton of pigment and powder when I applied it. I think it's a really beautiful shade, especially if you have fair skin. I will say the only critique, while this is limited edition, they could have come out with a few more palettes. They only have two. So they have this one for, you know, more fair skin, and then they have another one that's a little darker, but I think it would be nice if they maybe came out with a third palette that went a little darker. For the setting powder, this brightening powder, I really liked this. I feel like it did give some brightening in the center of my face, and this is really what I want from the regular Charlotte Tilbury powder, and I do get that with the lightest shade, but not quite like this. This is a really great finishing powder. It just helps to make your makeup look so smooth and flawless, but to have a little bit of a brightening effect is awesome. So I really hope that they add this shade to their permanent finishing powder line. It's always tough with limited edition stuff. I'm really excited to use this and keep using it, but I don't know how long it's gonna stick around. So if this intrigues you at all, I would say get it. It's beautiful. Hopefully they'll keep it around for a while and maybe bring it back, but get it before the sale ends if you really want it. I really don't get the complaint with the packaging. I mean, I think it's because of the price, but like Charlotte Tilbury is expensive, so you kind of say that about any of their packaging. I just think it's cute, and this to me does feel on brand. I like it. I like don't want to set it down. It's just so cute. Okay, for the rest of the blushes, I don't know what order to go in, but I'm just gonna do whatever order. So I picked up another shade of the Patrick Ta blush. This is in the shade She's That Girl. I've always had my eye on this one. I have two other shades already, so I didn't necessarily need this, but I don't know. I think I saw someone post this shade and it just like looked so pretty, and it kind of pushed me over the top to be like, okay, I'm finally gonna get it, and I'll get it during the Sephora sale. This is kind of on theme with some of the other blushes I got. This is a very like natural pink. So let me swatch the cream and then I'll swatch the powder. Okay, so this is the powder and this is the cream, and you can see they're a little different. The powder is actually a little bit peachier, which I don't have many peachy blushes, and then there is the cream. Honestly, cream is like the perfect shade, but it's actually very light. So they did design the cream to actually go on top of the powder. That's how Patrick Ta recommends using it. It can be used the other way, and I do feel like a lot of people do use it the other way just because maybe we're a little more used to, okay, creams first, then powders. That's usually how I like to apply it, but I do want to note that it's technically formulated the other way. And so with this one being a little bit sheerer, it's not sheer, but it's a little bit more sheer, especially than the Makeup by Mario cream that I swatched. I think it does show that this one's like really intending to be on top more. So I do feel like out of all of them, that one is gonna work really well on top. And the benefit of it on top is because it's creamy, it's giving like that dewiness to your skin. It's adding back in some of that glow on top of the powders that have kind of mattified things. I just feel like this is a very universal shade, so I'm happy to have this in my collection, and I probably don't need another one. I have just enough and She Goes to the Gym, and then with this, I kind of feel like I have super baby pink, everyday pink, and then like deeper berry mauve-y tones. So I feel like I have enough to do whatever look I want. So probably will pause on purchasing another one of these. Okay, the next blush I got was one of the new Rare Beauty Soft Pinch Matte Bouncy blushes. So that's the shade Hope. And the texture is very creamy. So it's like, you can sort of squeeze and make an indent. Okay, I didn't push hard enough, but it is like bouncy. So it's like a putty. That's the word I'm looking for. It's like a putty blush. There was a time when those were like super popular, but I haven't seen that formula out in a while. So this is unique for them, and it feels like a cream when you dip into it, and then it goes on your skin like a powder. So really unique formula. Also, that should help with longevity. Let me swatch. That is Hope. Very pigmented. However, because of this formula, I think you have a lot of control on how you build it up, as opposed to their liquid blushes that are crazy pigmented and you need to make sure you only use a little bit. While these are still pigmented, you're dipping in with your brush, so I feel like you can really control how much you dip in. Now, I picked out the shade Hope because I have the shade Hope in the cream liquid formula, and I love that shade. I'm gonna swatch it because I want to compare the two. I will also say that in looking at the shade range, I think they have like 6 or so shades right now. This was definitely the only shade that looked like it would work for my skin tone. I don't know, I'm sure they will expand, but right now it looks like all of the shades are very bold. And even this is pretty bold, so I would like to see them maybe come out with some lighter shades, some more everyday shades, but I think for now they were focused on a little bit more bold shades. But let's compare the liquid Soft Pinch blush. This is Hope. They are similar, I will say that. I think this one is just a little bit like softer in its rosiness, the liquid. Maybe it's a little more neutral, whereas the new cream powder is a little bit brighter. It is just a little bit more vivid, has a little bit more like warm orange in it. So they're pretty close, I'll actually say. This is the only one I kind of have a question mark about because I don't know if the shade is gonna work as great for me. So stay tuned, I'll keep you guys updated. The next blush I got was another shade of the Tower 28 Get Set blush. So I do already have this blush in the shade Malibu Cooler, and that is like a baby pink shade, but I wanted to pick up another one, and I got the shade Samo Spritzer. So this is a little darker, but I feel like it's a bit more everyday. So that's the shade. So this shade was described as a rosy mauve, and I actually think that's more accurate because it is a little bit cooler toned. It is rosy, but a little darker with that mauve, so I think that is accurate. This is a little bit of a darker shade for me, but it's not like a vibrant dark shade, whereas some of my darker blushes are more like vibrant berries. So I think this could work in a more natural everyday. I'm still testing out this formula. I like it so far. It is more matte, and it is supposed to have like a finishing powder finish. Like it's supposed to kind of be a blurring and setting powder in a blush. I am not gonna go in without setting my makeup first, even though it kind of claims that you could do this because it'll set your makeup. I still feel like I want to set my foundation first and then go in with a blush, because I don't want that blush to be like clinging on to the foundation and get patchy. Okay, moving right along here. I picked up one of the Kosas blushes. This is in the shade Euphoria. I've wanted to try these for a while. They definitely came out last year, so they've only been around for a year or so, but I want to say they came out like mid-year or something. But I feel like they're still very popular, and they're kind of like in that mix of like newer blushes talked about. So I wanted to finally pick one up. This is the shade Euphoria, and this is a baked blush format. So that is why you see the kind of, it's not texture, but you're seeing different colors. That's really common to see in baked products, because they do actually start out in a more like cream and then they literally bake it. And I find that baked products tend to just have a very beautiful finish on the skin. I mean, I love the Kosas setting powder. It is a baked powder, and I feel like it just gives, I don't know, more life to the skin. I don't know how to explain it, but I have found that baked blushes also do that. So this shade Euphoria is described as a cool pinky mauve. So there's the shade. It does have some cool mauve tones to it while still being pinky, so I feel like that's actually accurately described. It's maybe not a true mauve, but I think this is really pretty. It has a really nice finish to it, but this looks like a very pretty shade. Excited to use it. And I will say, I am planning to do like a showdown video of all of these blushes. I definitely bought more blushes than needed. I don't need all these blushes, but these are all like the really popular blushes out right now at Sephora. And so I thought, okay, there's some that I haven't tried. There's some new ones. I want to pick them up, and then I will do like a comparison video on all of these. And the last blush that I got, technically I got 8 different blushes, but I got 2 shades of this one, so there were 9 physical blushes. This is the Saie Super Suede blush. I got 2 shades. I got the shade Bella and I got the shade Mia. And I'm glad I got both of these, because I feel like it helps me test this more, because I really wanted this shade Bella, just that baby pink, cool toned, fun for summer. I wanted to get this shade and try out this formula, but I feel like if I just got this shade, it might be harder to test out because I'm not necessarily wearing that shade all the time. So I got the shade Mia that is a little bit more everyday. So Bella is described as a soft, cool baby pink. And let's swatch it. This is very light. And what drew me to this formula is that it gives a little bit of a sheen. So I think these are baked, maybe. Okay, yes, these are baked blushes. So similar to the Kosas, and I can really tell with these. So that is the pink, very light, very cool. And I don't know if it's picking it up. It will when I swatch the next shade, hopefully, but there is a little bit of this like sheen to it. There's no shimmer or anything in here, but it just has like a glow to it. So this next shade, Mia, is described as a soft rose. So this one I see myself wearing more. This to me is very rosy, and I don't know if you can see like the sheen. Hopefully I moved my hand enough for the light to pick it up, but this just has a very beautiful finish. Since this shade, Bella, is like the lightest shade, I feel like I can put it on top. Maybe we'll see how that turns out. Whereas like all the other ones, I felt like if I were to like put it on top of the blush I'm already wearing, it's gonna be like way too much. I wanted to show application of another one, so let's do a little bit of this on top, just a little. I'm gonna focus a little more on the high points. I feel like you can tell a difference. I'll be curious to see how this looks without anything under it, just how bright, but they describe both of these shades as soft, And I would agree with that. I don't feel like they're overpowering. So I see myself really liking this because sometimes this type of shade is a little bit too much and it is overpowering, but I feel like this might be a little bit more wearable and you get that beautiful sheeny finish. I've got to say, I'm actually very happy with how my makeup turned out today. I mean, I did use for my base, like my favorite products, the products I recommended in my Sephora sale recommendations video. I will link that if you have not done your shopping yet and still want some recommendations, but I used my NARS Light Reflecting Foundation, I used my Tower 28 Concealer, my Makeup by Mario Powder, so already that is like my perfect complexion trifecta, and then I applied some of these new products that you've seen the application of. I don't know, I feel like it looks really pretty, and I do think that Charlotte Tilbury, like the brightening setting power, did give some brightness to the center of my face. I do want to make a note about the Saie packaging. So I've actually seen multiple people make a comment that it feels a little cheap. Just from looking at it, like the picture, I wasn't quite sure why they said that, but actually holding it, I kind of get maybe why that was said. I think it's just because this is so light. Like, I'm scared to drop it, I don't want to break it, but this feels incredibly light. You know, it is just like plastic, but most blushes are. Like, yes, does the packaging feel cheap? Sure, but I could pull up like other blushes where the packaging feels like that. I do kind of feel like this black packaging with the name, and the name is raised. I don't know if that matters, but it's like raised. It's not just printed on. It feels very Saie like. I think I saw people be like, oh, like for the brand, it seems very cheap, but I feel like the design of it matches with some of their other products. So I'm not sure what they were expecting. Maybe because it's so small and it is so light, it's just holding it feels a little cheap. I don't know. I mean, it could have been in different packaging, but when you think of it, sometimes other brands that have maybe more luxe packaging also have kind of wasteful packaging. Like, this is really small, really compact, but I think maybe because this just feels a little more like a drugstore packaging, maybe that's why people said it. I don't know. I just felt like I needed to comment on that because I saw multiple people say that and I was curious myself when I purchased it. Believe it or not, those are all of the blushes. We've finally gone through them all 9 of them. And the very last product I have is the Laneige Glaze Cream Tinted Lip Balm. This is in the shade Raspberry Jam. This is one of their newer shades. I've had my eye on this. It was like available to see on the website, but it said it was sold out because I don't think they had launched the shade yet, but I saw it and I was like, ooh, I want it. And luckily it launched just in time for the sale. So I haven't tried this yet, so we'll go ahead and try it on this video. People have had a lot of thoughts on this applicator because it's like a donut. I don't know if it's being picked up, but it's not like the usual applicator that's angled for your lip. It's just kind of this donut shape, and it is very squishy actually, and so some people really like it, but some people don't. We'll see. I don't know how I feel about it. All right, let's apply. Ooh, okay. I don't know why I'm applying so weird. I think it's just the applicator. Okay, well, it smells amazing. Let me just say that. It smells like candy. Okay, that was actually very pigmented. I mean, I think you can see it very well. I feel like that definitely gave me a lot of color. It smells really good. It's reminding me of some candy I had as a child, but it's not like too like yucky candy, although some people might feel that way. Scents are tough. Scents are very personal. Yeah, I need to stop sniffing it. I like that. I'm happy. The formula feels nice. It feels very light. I don't know about the applicator though. I think that's why I applied it so weird, because I was worried about the edges. I don't feel like I can get as precise. And since this is more pigmented, I didn't want like the edges of my mouth to be stained with the product. So I don't know that I love the applicator for that. If you've stuck around all the way to the end of this video, thank you so much for watching. I would really appreciate it if you would give it a thumbs up. And if you have shopped the sale, let me know what you got. I honestly love watching sale haul videos. I don't know, that's just me, but I do like to see what people get. So definitely let me know if you shopped anything from the sale. It is still going on. So when I'm filming this, planning to post it tomorrow so that If you see this, there's still a couple days left of the sale. It goes through the 14th. Most of this makeup was new to me, so this is more of a first impressions, and I don't like to recommend something that I haven't used multiple times. So I still stand by my original recommendations video, but I will say I really liked this. Again, I've only applied it once. It is just a first impression, but I really liked this palette. The blush was beautiful, the finishing powder. It's not like it's new formulas either, so I'm already familiar with those formulas. So to me, it was more the shades and this adorable packaging. So I will throw out, I would probably recommend this, but there's always an asterisk because I want to be honest, I've only used it once. If you're interested in seeing more beauty content like this, definitely hit that subscribe button. Well, until next time, bye.